USS Helena was a St. Louis-class light cruiser of the United States Navy, completed shortly before World War II. She was damaged in the attack on Pearl Harbor, and participated in several battles in the Pacific War. She was sunk by 3 surface-fired torpedoes at the Battle of Kula Gulf in 1943. She was one of 3 U.S. light cruisers to be sunk during the war. In November 1942, Helena became the first U.S. Navy ship to be awarded the Navy Unit Commendation Medal. USS Helena name history. 4 United States naval vessels have carried the name of Helena, the state capital of Montana. The first ship was the gunboat Helena, in service from 1896 to 1932. She saw action in Cuban waters during the Spanish-American War and later joined the Asiatic Squadron for the Philippine insurrection and was part of the Yangtze and South China patrols. The second ship of the name was Helena, a light cruiser in service from 1939 to 1943. Damaged at Pearl Harbor on 7 December 1941. She sailed again to action at Guadalcanal, Savoy Island, and Cape Esperance, where she sank a Japanese cruiser and a destroyer. She was lost in Kula Gulf in 1943 with 165 of her crew. Her survivors call her the fighting ship that went in harm's way. Quote, after CL-50 was sunk in 1943, war bonds were collected to fund a Fargo-class light cruiser to be named Helena, but due to labor problems and other interference, this ship was cancelled on 5 October 1944 before construction began. In late 1944, war bonds raised in Montana were used to purchase the third ship to carry the name Helena, the heavy cruiser Helena. She was launched the 28th of April 1945 and commissioned on 4 September 1945. She saw distinguished service in European and Chinese waters and combat service in Korea. During that time, the Helena served as flagship of the U.S. Pacific Fleet and the 7th Fleet. She became flagship of the 1st Fleet in 1961. Until her decommissioning on 29 June 1963, her crew gave financial assistance to disabled children in Helena. She was sold for scrap in 1974. Her brass propeller and some anchor chains were procured by the city of Helena and placed in a park honoring all the United States Navy ships that bore the name Helena. The fourth and newest Helena is a Los Angeles-class nuclear submarine. She was built at the Electric Boat Company in Groton, Connecticut in 1986 and commissioned in 1987. Assigned to the Pacific Fleet, she serves as a potent part of America's defense capability. Helena's insignia depicts the city's iconic fire tower design. The St. Louis-class cruisers were a 2-ship class consisting of St. Louis and Helena. These were improved Brooklyn-class cruisers, and referred to as Brooklyn-class in some tables, that arose from the London Naval Treaty of 1930, which limited the construction of heavy cruisers, i.e. ships carrying guns with calibers between 6.1 inches and 8 inches. The United States did not favor this outcome, being of the opinion that the heavier guns ships more suited its needs in the Pacific. Brooklyn-class designs started in 1930, with the first 4 ships of the class ordered in 1933 and an additional 3 in 1934. Basic criteria had been that speed and range should match heavy cruisers, and when the Japanese Mogami-class cruisers carrying 15 6-inch main guns appeared, the new ships would match the weaponry. Various combinations of armor and power plants were tried in the efforts to stay below the treaty's 10,000-ton limit. The General Naval Board, in questioning 1935 changes to the London Naval Treaty, decided the following regarding the new St. Louis-class cruisers. Since the question of numbers is necessarily regulated by the total tonnage allowed, and since the total tonnage after 1936 is largely indefinite, owing to the uncertainties of the 1935 conference, the board considers that for now the properties of the individual ship are of greater importance than the number of ships. The St. Louis-class had newer and improved higher-pressure boilers, and a boiler arrangement used the unit system of alternating boiler and engine rooms. This was to prevent a ship from being immobilized by a single unlucky hit. Additionally, anti-aircraft armament was improved. They were the first U.S. cruisers to be armed with twin 5-inch 38 caliber guns. They could be distinguished visually from the Brooklyns by the placement of the afterdeck house immediately above the second funnel, and by the twin 5-inch mounts. Construction and commissioning. Helena, the second Navy ship bearing the name of the city of Helena, Montana, was launched on the 27th of August 1938 by the New York Navy Yard. Sponsored by Ms. Eleanor Carlisle Gudger, granddaughter of Senator Thomas J. Walsh of Montana, and commissioned on the 18th of September 1939, Captain Max B. DeMott in command. Interwar period. Helena departed the 14th of October 1939 from New York Navy Yard for her sea trials and shakedown cruise. She arrived in Annapolis on the 22nd of December 1939 and departed there on the 27th of December 1939 for her first voyage to South America. She stopped in many ports including Norfolk, Virginia from the 27th of December 1939 to the 3rd of January 1940, and Guantanamo Bay, Cuba from 6 to 7 January 1940. She crossed the equator on longitude 40 west on the 13th of January 1940. Helena visited Buenos Aires, Argentina from 22 to 28 January 1940. For the 19th of January to the 3rd of February 1940, she stopped at Montevideo, Uruguay, where her sailors boarded the wreck of the German pocket battleship Admiral Graf's P. Further stops included Santos, Brazil from 5 to 10 February 1940, Guantanamo Bay from 12 to 24 February 1940, and Norfolk from the 27th of February to the 1st of March 1940. She arrived back at the Navy Yard in New York on the 2nd of March 1940.